Show podcast with Pete Davis, sidekick, producer, and sports rec. Oh, Kitty came back. Sports rec on tour extraordinaire. Kitty's been much more friendly, fooling around. Oh, he wants to go in the closet.
He's meowing to go in the.
Oh, he wants to. What? Have you got a cat box in there or something?
And shit in there,
You like
So you're
playing
not
in
going
there?
in there.
Oh, your shoes. Cats love shoes.
Oh, they like- yeah.
I told you the cat used to lift up the inner sole of my shoe and put a bobby pin under there. That's a
They
damn
like
thing.
the barfing shoes too.
Of course, that's back when women had bobby pins laying around. Have you ever seen a bobby pin? Do you even know what that is?
Yeah.
Flounder, do you know what a bobby pin is? Okay, thank. Anyway, just checking. This is the kind of excitement you just don't get anywhere else on a podcast. I'm sorry.
Can we start the show now?
Do you know what a bobby pin? Well,
What's he doing
anything could
behind
happen. Is he yelling at you?
Now he's laying down.
Oh, anyway. Well, that's
No,
good
the
sign.
thing is I have plants in there he's curious about because the weather's cold, so I put my plants in there, but those plants are poisonous to him
Oh, that's not
Yeah.
good.
because there's a lot of plants that
Well,
cats
if it's a
can't.
closed door, he wants in.
Yeah, and then the closet has all kinds of shoes and cords, so he has a field day. So I'll let him in there sometimes when I'm doing
Ooh,
stuff in
now
here,
he's
but
getting you back by clawing up your couch. Anyway.
I'll show him.
By the way, I have a couple of videos of the cat on our jackets and stuff that I'll put on Facebook after we get done with the podcast, which is pretty cool. Kidding. Anyway, we got distracted. Okay. I got a billion things. Obviously, the
Squirrel.
Trump, what's that? The Trump speech from last night, the comments. We'll talk about that. We'll talk about not only the announcement and the reaction, but President stupid overseas. Again, just embarrassing himself and us. Secret agents working for the FBI on January 6th have now more than whistleblowers are coming out. Some sad news about a major 60s and 70s star, which is unfortunate and scary. And, we got to think, man, what would I do? Also, Jimmy Fallon, R.I.P. Well, we'll get to that here. Oh, the cat. Can you hear the cat?
Yeah, he's out.
He's gone.
He's out.
Also, I got a whole bunch of stories on gay gender school things, which is just really frightening. A million other couple things, and we'll get all to the business. Again, if you go to thekimmershow.net, that links us to Extra 106.3, the radio station FM that we do stuff with. Also, if you want to get a hold of us, we're getting a lot of people on Venmo. We have a Venmo click right there. Also, don't forget PayPal. PayPal still works, or patreon.com/Kimmer Show if you want to help donate to the program, which we're very grateful. And the post office box listed up there, too. Again, thank you so much. It really does help, by the way. A few things that have, before we get to the actual program. Oh, did you see what Eric did at Farmhouse Printing Co.? Did you see these thank you notes? In fact, I brought in a pack for you guys in case you want some, because it may happen you want to say thank you to somebody who did something for the podcast. Return address envelopes and these beautiful thank you notes, which are plain inside, which I asked them to be plain so I can write little notes with our logo and the flag and stuff. So
That's
you guys
beautiful.
Isn't that beautiful? I mean, they're really gorgeous. And I sent out the first three last night I wrote up. So anyway, if you want to take a few of those and between the two of you. Also, while I'm thinking of it, before we start the actual program, oh, there you are. I put a Facebook video on there. Again, you guys don't really...
You're 2 steps ahead of us, always.
I'm way ahead of you. I have your latest Sports Illustrated, which I know I'm just tired of it. It's so they've gone all glossy, so it's kind of hard to fold up. Anyway, whatever. But there's a great article in here on Bo Jackson when Bo chose baseball, and I didn't remember the whole story about what happened when he was at Auburn, and all of a sudden he got in big trouble. And the story of what happened and how he had to choose. And Culver House at Tampa Bay, he said it was a sewer down there. He didn't want to play for him. He's going to be the number one pick. I mean, it's a really interesting story on Bo Jackson, and that's the Sports Illustrated for you. Let's see. Also, gave you the sport. We'll talk more sports sections here in a second about stuff. Holy crap of sports later on, I'm guessing.
Yes, later on.
All right, sir. Best podcast and sportscast. Let's see a couple things. They had another moonshot today, and I'm not really enthralled with the space program anymore, just because it's the nature of the beast. Since we've had several, but I did watch the video of the blast off this morning, and I get a kick. I mean, the size of these freaking rockets and the power, the thrust. Holy smokes!
You want to be impressed? Go to Huntsville and stand next to one of those Saturn that are laying on its laying on its side, and you stand next to it. It's like
And so when I was my final wife, we took the barman over there, my official son, to go to space camp, and so I mean it's just remarkable, really incredible. But again, the video, and now with the modern technology, you can finally see the liftoff from several angles, and it's pretty cool. And again, this is unmanned, although they have some space versions of test crash dummies in a new capsule, and they're testing to see how they survive in some kind of new teardrop capsule or some gumdrop shaped capsule.
Remember the
But there's no people on it, but they're testing the circumstances to go back to the moon. Anyway,
remember
yes.
the ride at Huntsville where you just went in circles really fast, so you could.
The centrifuge.
That's how you know our parents didn't care about us. 'Cause there was like no seatbelt in there. Literally, you just were up against the wall.
Well,
and
Six,
started
Six Flags used to have that, the vomit rocket or something. That, you know,
Well,
yeah.
So we
I
would go there.
remember-
We would go there on field trips. We'd do a field trip to Huntsville, and
And they
then
put you in the centrifuge
and stay the
thing?
night. But yeah, we get to go in there. Well, the one I'm talking about is where you stand up and you're going in circles like 30 to 40 miles an hour.
Yeah.
Like Six Flags. In fact, there's a great.
Oh, there's a famous one.
There's a video of a woman who didn't have why you should always wear underwear. Her pants start centrifugally fugating down to her ankles, and her boyfriend's trying to put his leg over her to cover her, and it ain't working. That's embarrassing.
But God bless her. That's my motto. Commando, baby.
Do you go commando?
No, God, no.
That's so.
Oh, it's disgusting.
It is disgusting.
You're picking out the seat of your pants and
You gotta wash your pants every time you wear
God,
them.
yeah, stop, cut. No, we don't even want to think about it. Oh my God.
No Taco Tuesday for that.
No, and I thank you. No. A couple of things. Let's see. Oh, I thought this was. I was reading and going through stuff on the phone, and among other things, there was an article of some kind, BuzzFeed or something, and an article on people giving a tip that they heard in therapy, which has lasted for years. One tip a therapist told them that lasted
the
for
tip.
years. Here's just the tip. That's what she said. But and this one, and I looked through a bunch of them, and here's one that actually did make me go, wow.
Okay.
Are you ready?
Let's hear it.
Here's the tip from a therapist.
Born ready.
The human brain is not designed to keep us happy. It's designed to keep us alive.
That's just now occurring to you?
Well, no, but I mean, think about it. It's like you do not have the right to never be offended. You don't have the right to always be happy. America's the only country on earth where the people think you deserve to be happy all the time, stuff like that. I mean, and the fact of the matter is that's not what we're about. We're about procreation and survival. That's it.
Then why do we have serotonin and endorphins?
To make us so we'll feel better, so that we'll be happy and we'll procreate and have sex with girls because we like them and everybody's happy and having sex and stuff. I mean, it's all fit into one thing, and that's staying alive. If you're happy, that's great. But are you happy? Would you describe yourself as
Cameron,
a happy individual?
I live by this. If you're happy and you know it, clap your
Clap
hands.
your hands.
That's what I live by.
And what's that one? When I was retired out of Florida where I got Jack, all the little girls at the stable, there was a famous song, and it's something like, if you've ever been in love, clap your hands, or something like that. And I used to think, yeah. But again, the thing about the human brain is not designed to make us happy, where that's not the whole purpose of it. It's to keep you alive. All right, sorry.
David says, my whole office is ringing bells.
Oh, my God. We've been out for 4 minutes.
I thought it was interesting.
Jeez. Tough crowd.
That's what I
Tough
know.
crowd.
The Graviton.
Yeah.
Is that what it was called? The Gravitron?
My other favorite was the one where they drop you like a rock. You're in a
hate
little
the
tape
parachute.
Shook.
It was called the Great Gasp.
Is that
The Great Gasp.
Shook, and then all of a sudden you're down. And
Once
you're,
was all. Once was all. By Tracy the Space Waitress.
I'm not riding those. I'm sorry.
How you be a space waitress?
What's that now?
How can you be a space waitress? Tracy says she's space waitress.
She's a space waitress?
Yeah.
I don't know what that is.
Maybe she worked at the Space Needle.
Very possible. Or she's going to go up on a rocket ship and wait on. I don't know. I mean, I've never
You
heard
can
of
do that now.
I didn't know that. A couple things. We got a bunch of newsy things. Oh, I thought this was funny, and I know I mentioned before. If you go to Venmo now, there is a Venmo thing. If you go to thekimmershow.net, isn't that right? There's a thing, and they can click it on your. Take a picture of it on your phone, and then just open it up and do what it says, and that's.
What are you talking about? The Venmo?
Venmo.
Yeah, the Venmo is you open up your camera
Yeah.
and you put your camera up to the image, and
Yeah.
then it'll take you to the
Take a
Kimmer
picture,
Show to
and then
donate.
just do what it says. When it opens
Yep.
up, do what it says. Okay. Anyway, and I mentioned most people, if when they're donating to us, $5, $5, $10, things like that. So some are, but again, well, the good news is that if we get, I wrote out, we got 6 things in the mail the other day, which is nice.
Excellent.
So that's $30, $40, $50. But again, it's not quite a car note. But again, this is all helpful.
We have a
Believe me.
young cat to feed.
Believe me, it's very helpful. But what I wanted to say was, although most of them are $5 or $10 or whatever, Ferdinand, his last name begins with H. I won't give his full name. Ferdinand wrote in and said, "I'm sending you $27 on Venmo for 2 cheeseburgers at Five Guys."
Well, hell,
So we ask you for a cheeseburger a month if it's $3.
a cheeseburger, large fries, and a chocolate shake is $25.
Yeah, see, that's ridiculous.
All right, normally what would that be at Five Guys? Like $12, $13 probably?
Maybe less than 15. Yeah.
Anyway, so
And
thank you.
that was months ago. I haven't been to Five Guys in half a year or more.
I mean, like I said, when I go to Wendy's, I get a double cheeseburger and a fry, and it's $9.
Yeah, I mean, it's unbelievable.
Well, they
If
have
you
the
go-
Reggie bag now. So you can get
I mean, if you go to a decent kind of restaurant grill
my
type
gosh.
place,
I'd hate to think,
cheeseburger's
what's a
$14.
steak? What is a steak now? I haven't gone and gotten a steak in so long.
I mean, if you go to Outback,
Oh, it's
it's like
$50.
I mean, like Outback's like $25, $30 for a steak.
Yeah.
But if you go to like something a little more upscale, you're going to pay
Well, if you go
$40,
to,
$50.
Ruth's Chris or
okay,
Morton's,
ladies,
you're
just
gonna
to
spend a
put
lot.
it this way: if
Yeah.
if a guy takes you to a nice restaurant,
Yeah.
You've
you're
got-
putting out.
Better put out. You're going to have to give it up. I'm sorry. A little something. I mean, just
Little something.
just for the effort.
Just
you know.
a tip. I just want to wet
Well,
my
there'll be
beak.
no cash.
I just want to wet my beak.
I want you to wet my beak.
Just a taste. I want a taste.
Okay, let's just stop right there.
By the way,
You always go too far. Well, you always got to
try
top
to up
me.
me. You got to do it.
Always trying to top me.
Be very careful, my friend. Paulie Walnuts, give me a break. And speaking of food, Pete sent me or us or whatever a great-looking recipe.
Do you have an air fryer? Because I
Pig
sent it to
shot.
him. 'cause-
I know I don't have an air fryer, but I'll bet you could make it on bake it.
Yeah, I'm sure you could.
And it's called Pig Shots. And it was a video. I guess you could probably Google it. It's a video.
I sent it to you last night, like at 3 in the
And
morning.
you cut up bacon into little,
No.
like-
You cut the sausage up in little circles, like
right.
quarters.
Take pork sausage and cut it into little knobs.
Thick.
But then you take little chunks of bacon and wrap it around the sausage. You
Wrap
don't put
it
a
around.
whole piece of bacon. You cut the bacon into chunks.
Well, yeah, you cut the bacon in half, the strip of bacon in half, and then you wrap it around
Wrap
this
it
like
around the sausage.
this thick quarter of sausage, but you leave room at the top, like
Yeah,
a bowl,
like a cup. Yeah, the
Like
cup
a
on
bowl.
top of the sausage.
and you put toothpicks in to make sure the bacon sticks in there, and then
And then you take and you mix egg. You scramble. You put egg and mix it up with cheddar cheese or cheese, whatever you want. And then you pour a little bit of that in each one of those little cups with the top over above the sausage, and bake it for in 10 minutes in an air fryer or something. And it looks freaking delicious.
does.
Like, oh my, well, bacon, sausage, and egg. How could that be bad? And there's no bread to it. It's just that's the sandwich. I mean, that's the eating. And I'll bet it's freaking delicious.
I also saw a chef saying how you could have perfectly poached eggs in your microwave. Basically, you get
Poached
a bowl.
eggs and-
You get a bowl, and you crack the egg into the bowl, and then you fill it up with water till it's about a half inch ahead, because the egg will sink.
Yeah.
You'll fill the water up about a half an inch above the egg,
Yeah.
and you got to test it out because all microwaves are different,
Yeah.
and put it in there somewhere between 35 and 50 seconds, and somewhere in there is the perfect zone, and it comes out a perfect poached egg.
I'll be darned.
Yeah.
Well, there you are. Ladies and gentlemen,
So how much?
Kimmer's Kitchen.
Well, I was going to say, how much water do you have to put in there? Because if it's going to
you put
sink,
it in, you put it
Till
in
you
there
see
till
it
it sinks,
above.
and then you put a little half an inch above it. And I tried it yesterday, and I put it in for like 44 seconds. Obviously, I need to put it in for 50, and so I'll try it for 50 today when I get home. But
Okay.
it worked.
well, there you go. And you got the air fryer. I
so I
expect
was
you
about
to
to
try
say,
that.
I didn't check the link because I was sleeping. But what do you do with it in the air fryer?
Oh, you put it. That's where you cook it.
Well,
No,
yeah, I mean, do you put
the
it?
bacon.
Do you literally just put the egg in there, or do you
No,
have to?
no, not the eggs in the microwave. We're talking about the bacon, the pig shot.
Oh, the bacon. Yeah. Bacon in the air
Pig shots
fryer.
in air
That's
fryer.
gotta be
But the only thing is, if you're going to do that, there's a lot of fat in bacon.
Yeah.
So you get
It's
a
gonna
lot
go
of smoke
splatter.
and stuff like that. So you want to make sure you're near a window or something like that. I almost burnt my loft down cooking bacon. I didn't
hadn't
almost,
thought about that.
but I had some really thick bacon in there, and like it just
Start smoking.
it
Oh,
started
that's not
smoking
good.
big time.
Grease. Anyway, so thank you. I'm going to have to try that at some point here. Let's see, a couple things. A couple of newsy things. We'll talk Trump. We'll get all this stuff here, everything, and we'll cover everything. Let's see. Oh, the new senator from Pennsylvania, Senator John Fetterlump, the monster. He was in the hallway, and reporters started shouting questions. Senator Fetterman, you going to be able to wear your hoodie in the Senate? And of course, he ignores them because he can't process information.
Lurch.
And so one of the reporters said to the staff aide, she says, "Hey, he's ignoring us. He's not, he won't even answer. He won't even give us the da-da-da-da-da." And she said, "Okay, two things." They actually made a statement. His aide, Fetterman's aide, made a comment, two things. First of all, you're going to have to change the way you try to get information from this senator. You can no longer just yell questions at him. They have to be written down. He's going to have to be able to study the questions. And oh my God.
You rang.
And so the critics are saying, this is so his wife, who, by the way, is a bisexual Brazilian, I believe, or somewhere down in South or Central, South America. Or
Same
Same thing. And she's a famous bisexual foreign American citizen. I guess she's an American citizen, and she has been, edging him out in photographs together. Well, she'll be standing kind of in front of him. Clearly, she's going to be answering his questions. She's there to take. She's the senator.
Yes,
they elected her, and everybody knew it. And they did it anyway. So we have a new bisexual Brazilian for.
That's two bisexual senators.
That's right.
Sinema of Arizona.
Sinema. I thought that was, and people are saying, well, this is just freaking obvious as hell that it was his wife all along.
Do you see the pose? She basically has him halfway out of the photo, and it's her standing at the door in some kind of model pose, like she's on
first day. Here's Mrs. Senator.
Door number 2. You know.
That's unbelievable. I mean, it's so
we are
freaking obvious.
So fucked is what we are.
And speaking of being screwed, Senator Raphael Weifnacher is now being his ex-wife is demanding that he testify under oath about being a deadbeat dad. Not that he's a slumlord. I don't know if she's going to question him about being an official slumlord, but he's a deadbeat dad. Apparently, when the process server showed up with a subpoena to get him to pay child support, he bolted out the back door. That's why his commercial of him running and working out of the track and stuff, because he was able to escape the process server to pay his child support. Anyway, she wants him under oath testifying about what a deadbeat daddy is.
Did you see the video of someone chasing him out of someplace yesterday? Saying, what are you going to do about the mold and corpses at Columbia Towers or something like that? And he just ran to the car.
Of course, absolutely. He didn't want to answer
so
for
he's
that.
a slumlord for at least 2 properties.
Yeah, and a deadbeat dad. Yeah, there you are. And a guy who ran over his wife with a car. I don't know whether he tried to kill her.
Allegedly.
Well, I mean, he knocked into her. Let's say that. I mean, we know that he hit her with it.
She said he did.
Well, there you are. Let's see. So there's a couple of things we need to take care of. A personal thing, if you don't mind. The other day, this is, as we speak, it's Wednesday. Was it Monday, where the really bad weather hit and then into Tuesday, cold and rainy, it was just horrible. And I really felt, for some reason, I felt depressed. I felt upset and sort of angry. It was like I couldn't get anything done. I couldn't do anything I wanted to do, or I don't know what's going on. I really, really, really felt it. Felt
what?
I felt. I don't know whether it was. I don't know. Maybe the change in seasons. Plus, also, here we go already into Christmas, Stressmas. Christmas, otherwise known as Stressmas, and for some reason the cold weather and the rain, and I also went to the stable, and the problem was when all the horses are in, it's crowded and active, and all the ladies want to get their horses saddled up and work in the inside ring and stuff, and I'm kind of in the way, and nobody. It was just the whole day was. I hated my whole freaking day. Tried to take a nap, I couldn't go to sleep. I mean, it was brutal. Tried to get things done, I couldn't get anything accomplished.
Do you want a cookie?
No. So what I'm going to do today, I've already made up my mind. I'm going to do 2 things because it's cold and it's just windy, and it's just not a happy day. You can't really go like hit balls or
shining.
something. But it's a beautiful day today. But today I'm going to clean. I've already started. I'm going to clean stuff, and I'm also going to start sorting away. I'm going to start putting things away. I've got a box, like a big box like this, of T-shirts that I've had for probably 30 years. Well, for what?
Has the estrogen kicked in or something?
I know I need to, I need to.
I like this. I
need
like
to
this.
unclutter. Does that make sense?
I completely agree. As you know, at my place, I'm very organized
You're
and structured.
very.
So here's what you
That's one word.
OCD is another word, possibly. OCD.
But I need to get organized. and
You're the
unclutter.
Felix Unger of this show.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, it was yesterday, the day before, was Felix Unger Day. The day that his wife kicked him out.
I love it.
All right. So when you start your project,
Yeah.
one thing you need to do,
Yeah.
and again, I'll help you get this set
Put
up.
an
but
apron on.
Build yourself a little workstation.
I've got a little place near where my typewriter is and my.
Do all that, and
Yeah.
then once you're organized, I'll bring the laptop over and we'll get that set up.
The other problem is I don't know about my stupid. I don't know what my
Mike was telling me that the
my code for the what the
code
hell?
thing or whatever should be on
Wi-Fi.
the box.
Okay. Well, I've got.
You said you took pictures, so take pictures
got that.
again and send them to me.
I've got it.
And then
Give them to you right now.
And then, like you said, we should just go through your passwords and we'll see if one of them signs up.
Okay, well, that's the other thing is the password. I'm not sure what I might, but it wouldn't have been like a 25-digit thing they gave me. It would be something I picked, right?
Yeah, I believe so,
Okay,
yes.
then I've got okay, so we figured it out. All right, I'm sorry. Okay, a TV thing. I am so upset about this. Last time we talked, I was since you guys are not watching Yellowstone, and I did watch the first episode, which was actually a 2-episode episode. And I'd mentioned before I didn't watch the whole thing. I watched the first hour, and then I kind of tuned out.
Now, people are
Right.
listeners haven't watched it yet, so be careful.
Okay. Okay. Well, this is. Let's see. I'm going to describe an event in the opening Yellowstone, which is this past Sunday, and it's now, as we speak, it's Wednesday. So I can't feel too bad if when you listen to this podcast, which might even be Thursday or Friday, if you haven't watched it yet, then I'll do my best. But if you don't want to hear anything about it, give me 20 seconds and then tune back in to talk about Yellowstone. Okay, 20 seconds and start right now.
Timing you.
As it turns out, the young kid who's there is told to saddle up John Dutton's horse because they're going to get him riding and go out with the guys and do things with the cows and whatever. So he does that. He does a good job. And then as he's riding the boss's horse back toward where they're going, the horse steps in a hole and breaks his leg and he's floundering, screaming, and Rit shoots him. Now, my problem is it didn't have anything to do with the plot. Why did they put that scene? I mean, that's just, yes, even you're not a horse guy, but you're
I don't
going,
like
oh my
that.
God.
I don't like that.
I've seen a couple episodes because it's on weekend reruns all the time. But would it have anything to do with them being ranchers and stuff like that in the everyday
but,
life?
But again, they didn't need that. They could, if they wanted to make a point about people being in the Wild West and being ranchers and cattlemen, they didn't have to show a horse broken leg and Rip going with his gun at his eyeball and putting a bullet in it. I mean, it's just unbelievable. And they didn't show the head splattering, but they showed, bang. And I'm thinking, my God, you know how many horse people are watching that show because they love horses, because they're Western people and they wish they were cowboys? Everybody who watches that show, is probably loves horses and loves the West and cattle wrestling and saddling up a bronc and stuff like that. And everybody, I assume, was as offended as I was about the whole thing because there was no need for it. Okay. It didn't add anything to the plot. Okay, anyway, so screw Yellowstone, you're out. I hate you. It was almost, remember the movie, did you see the movie War Horse by Steven Spielberg?
No, and I won't.
I hated that movie.
I will not watch that. No.
And it had a good ending, theoretically, but I was so angry during the whole
Yeah,
thing,
we won
I
the
couldn't
war.
watch it.
We won the war.
Well, anyway, I couldn't, I was so upset by that. And so screw Yellowstone, I hate you.
You want to feel better? Copper Kettle has something for you.
Oh, really?
It says, Kimmer, you should set your password as incorrect. So when you put it in there wrong, it will say your password is incorrect. I know.
That's what I've been telling you. Or if somebody tries to steal it, it's incorrect. Ah, crap, it's incorrect. I don't. Anyway, well, thank you, Copper Kettle. We've heard from Copper Kettle before. We know that name. Yeah. Okay, should we do some newsy stuff? Donald Trump, did you watch his announcement?
Yeah, we're We're 30 minutes in. We
Well,
can start
but again,
the
we're
show
not
now.
We're not a newscast, so we can't start doing news things because they're already out of date. And now they're saying in near Los Angeles this morning, 22 police recruits were out jogging, doing their exercise on the streets in Los Angeles, and got hit by a car. 22 of them are in the hospital.
Damn.
At 6 o'clock in the morning, they were wearing green tape, the reflex tape, but whether the car, now again, we're not a newscast, so I don't know anything about the specifics, whether the guy lost control, was drunk, mechanical failure with the car, they were in the road, nobody saw, I don't know. But anyway, like 22 as we speak, it might have even been more.
At the police academy?
Yeah, no, it wasn't the academy, it was a training academy.
It says a
for
wrong
people
way
trying to-
driver.
Wrong way driver.
Yeah, so that plowed into a group of law enforcement recruits while they were jogging in South Whittier Wednesday
Whittier,
morning.
California, Nixon's hometown, yeah.
So he was going the wrong way.
Wow. Anyways, so things, again, that's just one of the horrible things that happened. Donald Trump, did you watch his announcement or his speech last night? How about you, Flounder? Did you watch it? Oh, you're probably sleeping.
I was sound asleep,
Yeah.
but I...
Well, I watched it on Newsmax on my phone. And I was kind of disappointed. I was not enthralled. I was not enthused, maybe because I've seen several of his rallies over the last couple of months. And his rallies were much more exciting than last night. Last night, and in fact, the one thing I think we've all been thinking, and the one thing I've been thinking from the very beginning was, if he's going to do this again, he cannot talk about 2020. He's got to talk about the future, what his policies are compared to what we're going through now, and the differences, and to show where he's a better leader with better ideas and policies than what we're going through. I mean, it's simple as that. But if he's going to go back and keep talking about he got screwed and they lied and cheated and so forth, here we go again. And I think we all probably agree with that. That would be a bad idea. So he's doing everything right. He's fairly subdued. He wasn't, it wasn't like a really rah rally. It wasn't.
He didn't go off script.
Well, here's one thing that did get me. He couldn't help himself, and this is what makes me nervous about Donald Trump running for president again. He couldn't help himself. He was trying very hard not to mention 2020 until he got to the point. I even wrote it down. He went off script and he was ad-libbing something about President Stupid, President Showers with daughter. And then he said, well, you know what happened in 2020? just saying. And then back on the script. So even then, he knew as soon as he talked about 2020, he said, just saying, as though it's okay because he just said, just saying. But still, he couldn't help making a comment about 2020, which I think is a very bad mistake.
You can't ignore it, though. You can't ignore it.
Well-
And a lot of the pundits were saying, look, he was trying to be serious last night, showing. And when he does something like that, when he doesn't rant and rave like he does at the things, they say, "Oh, look how tired he is." They talk about how old he is. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, I never thought. That's not. That's
But
just
when he
him
yells
being-
and screams and goes into it like his rallies, they say, "Look, he's crazy.
Yeah, no,
he can't win."
I never got that feeling. He was very serious. He was straightforward, serious, subdued. He did all the right things. He compared, what's going on now with where we need to be. It was really a pretty good speech.
Yeah, he said he's pretty much banking on the next 2 years of Biden's failing economy.
Right, and he did right. Nancy Pelosi is fired, and we'll make sure Joe Biden doesn't get another 4 year. I mean, it was all properly done, but it still made me nervous. And the other thing, I got away feeling when it was over, I thought, well, here we go. And that's not the way I should be feeling about a guy announcing for president, And then I got to thinking, why? I still don't know why he did it now. It's 2 years. I mean,
He's doing this to keep the other guys buried.
well, he's doing it for two reasons, I think. One, to keep everybody else shut up, so because all of a sudden Trump's in it. Well, what am I going to do now? Or you wait to see what happens.
He wants
before they decide.
DeSantis
He wants
out
to-
because
yeah.
DeSantis is up here
Right.
now.
Well, DeSantis is the face of the Republican Party, whether he likes it
future.
or not. Yeah. But the other reason is, I think, is because he's still under investigation, and if they actually indict him now that he's announced he's going to run for president again, he can say, "Here we go. I want to be president. They're indicting me." You know what I mean? So it's a perfect opportunity, which I think is the only reason I can see why he announced before the indictments were down or official or possible, for that reason. But other than that, and then I'm thinking to myself, well, what about DeSantis? What's he supposed to do? DeSantis can't do anything. He just got elected governor.
Well,
so he can't say anything other than, well,
No.
I mean,
If I'm
he just
him,
got elected.
I keep quiet.
He's got to shut up.
And I let Trump either take it or implode.
Yeah, well,
And he's got 2 years to sit there and just watch it.
Right. Well, DeSantis was asked about it
and
at
he
the
said,
governor's
look at
meeting.
the scoreboard.
Yeah, and he actually made a great comment. He started laughing when a girl reporter said, "Well, can you tell us how when he called you Governor DeSanctimonious?" And DeSantis started laughing and he was chuckling up, and he said, "Well, the good thing about this country is that when you're running for office, you're going to get creamed." He said, "I've been criticized more in the last 4 years than anybody in the history of the world, so I'm used to this. It's no big deal," which I think is a perfect answer. And then he said, and then by the way, let's just check the scoreboard and find out how Florida did in the election the other day. So it was perfect. I mean, he sloughed it off. He laughed. He was happy, and he said, just look at the board and everything will be fine. That's the only thing he can't say anything about presidency. He just got elected.
If Trump runs again, which he is, and loses, that's it. He's
over,
finished, which
yeah.
means there's a power vacuum, which means everyone will look at DeSantis, who will have 2 more years as governor of Florida, and then he will have 2 years to run for president.
Well, the problem with that is if Trump is the you're talking about if Trump is the nominee.
Yeah.
If Trump is the nominee, I'm afraid that it might also affect the Senate races, and in 2 years, a lot of the states where the Senate, again, every 2 years, a third of the Senate's up for re-election. That's why it's staggered like that. So the senators that are up for re-election, those states should be Republican states. And if Trump goes down in flames and they also go down in flames, they're going to put in that national election law and stuff like that, and the Republicans will never win another race.
Well, if the economy is as bad as we think it's going to be in 2 years,
Well,
especially
anyway,
if this sumbitch gets us in a war in Europe.
I know.
I mean, who would vote for Democrat at that
Yeah.
point? When you see your sons being sent off to war,
Yeah.
that changes people's minds. Then abortion hopefully will go on the back burner.
Yeah,
that's another thing.
that's the
By the
other
time
thing.
2 years comes down, this abortion fever will hopefully have broken.
Yeah. Yeah. So anyway, I'm just.
Well, the other thing too is he's completely going against everything the GOP wants. So
Well,
he's already
screw the GOP.
but he's already breaking. Well, if there's one thing we need right now is unity.
Well, they ain't gonna get it with the GOP. They
Yeah.
will fight each other to the end. That's what they do.
Yeah.
And
So-
McConnell has to go, and McCarthy's got to go, and they're going to reelect both of them, and they're going to put them back in. Nothing's going to change. The GOP is a busted, broken organization right now. It's one big uniparty, the
Yeah.
DC uniparty. They're all getting paid off, so they don't care.
Yeah. Well, this may be one of the ways to look at it is that they asked one particular person, a senator in Wyoming, and I said whether you will endorse Donald Trump in 2024. And Senator Cynthia Loomis of Wyoming said, quote, "I don't think that's the right question. I think the question is, who is the current leader of the Republican Party? And that's Ron DeSantis."
That's not true.
Well,
That's who they want.
but again, here's a senator.
I know.
So that's what's happening, and Trump caused it. It's it seems to me if they can't work this out together, well,
You know what's going to happen if he doesn't get the nomination? He's going to do the Teddy
gonna hurt.
Roosevelt Bull Moose thing.
Yeah, and then
And
we're
lose.
screwed. Yeah, then we're really screwed. Even Mike Luck Hate Americovich had a pretty interesting cartoon. It's the picture of the snake. Don't tread on me, snake. But this snake is a snake curled around and eating its own tail, and it's labeled GOP. Eating themselves, which is true. And then the other one from the far right is also correct, and it's Donald Trump at the president's desk and one of his aides, and it says, "Amazing. People dislike you more than inflation and high crime," which is also true.
He's
Donald Trump.
He's
and
underwater
will never
in the
vote
polls.
for him. He just eliminated all the people who didn't vote for him before, are probably never going to vote for him now, and he has to hope that he gets some kind of suburban housewife swelling and Hispanics and 10% more black people this time or something to do it. Otherwise, he split. He just automatically.
But
eliminated
if
those
he's
people.
the nominee, I'm voting for him.
Oh, me too. And again, I think he's one of the best presidents we've ever had as president. His
But we're
activities, what
all
he did in president.
Tired of the man And hopefully
It's
he
too
will
much
be much more
baggage.
serious this time. Yeah, the
This-
baggage is killing him.
That's my biggest problem is that I'm afraid he can't win because he can't unify the people who may be on the fence or the middle of the road or whatever. But again, what do I know? We got a long 2 years. So.
Whole GOP, the McConnell people are going to be fighting him tooth
I know.
and nail. Jeb Bush is even raising his head again. Jeb
God,
Bush,
stop! You're killing me.
please. Did you see what Jeb Bush Jr. put out? I didn't know there was a Jeb Bush Jr.
No.
He says that Trump's speech was low energy.
Well, compared to his rallies, it was.
Well, that's what he
but
used to call Jeb.
Right.
Low
yeah,
energy
exactly.
Jeb.
Low energy Jeb. Yeah. So he labeled his own father by bringing up his father's nickname during the debates. Idiots. And then, of course, President Stupid overseas, embarrassing us again. Did you see that they sat down for a news conference and they were saying, what about the business with the Russian missiles that killed the people in Poland? Can you tell us? And he said, no. And then started smirking, and then they cut the feed off. And then he went back to his hotel. President Showers's daughter actually skipped the formal get-together dinner, which brought them all together after the reason they were having all the meetings, and just went back to his hotel, have milk and cookies, and watch TV. He was tired.
what I do.
He was tired. The emperor has no clothes.
Well, he does have clothes. It's a Mao Zedong shirt.
Oh, yeah, I love that Chinaman outfit he had.
Oh my God. Hey, more Kung Pao. Table 3. More Kung Pao. Table 3. Chop, chop.
We need the low-calorie soy over here.
Come on. Step lightly, my good man. Chop, chop.
And a couple other national newsy things. The head FBI brown shirt, the insurrectionist Chrissy Ray from Atlanta, refuses to admit that he had 20 undercover assets inside the Capitol building
Opening doors.
before the mostly peaceful January 6th Ashley Babbitt Day protest. Inside the building, dressed like MAGA supporters, acting like Donald Trump MAGA supporters, just the same way they did for inside the Proud Boys and every other organization where they could have done something in terms of charging of conspiracy or stopping the violence before anything had ever happened, and did nothing about it. And he's refusing to even admit that he had them in there. A yes or no question. Did you have people inside the Capitol? And he said, well, it's hard to talk about investigations. Just a freaking cow. I mean, this is amazing, the destruction that this man has done against the basic principles of this country. He's operating as an operative of the Democrat Party.
Political operative. Yeah.
I mean, I was listening to Glenn Beck tell the story of the woman and her husband, a couple of religious people from Alaska who were in Washington for the January 6th mostly peaceful Ashley Babbitt Day protest, and they went to the Capitol. They never went inside the building, but they were on this. I think they were in. Maybe they went to the steps, a door, or something. Saw what was going on, had to catch a plane, left and went home, and got raided by the FBI.
Yeah.
Because they were there.
It's a shame.
I mean, my
nothing
God.
bad happens
And
to
the guy
the
said
FBI.
6 o'clock in the morning, all of a sudden he hears these banging on his door. He opens the back door, and it's a squad of FBI agents saying, put your hands up.
Ruby Ridge.
Jesus, I'm just the FBI against an elderly couple from Alaska who were very Christian-oriented who went to the Capitol and sat on the steps. I mean, and by the way, again, I know this is, I can't get over this whole business with the loss of freedom of the press. I remember and again, I'm an old fart. I remember the days when the America's press corps would have jumped on stories like this, would have said, oh my God, we caught the FBI being, doing this kind of stuff, undercover operatives and secret assets. And oh my God, what a story. You think Watergate was something. This is unbelievable. And nobody barely even covered the FISA court, the FBI agents cheating on the FISA court. You couldn't get anybody to even talk about it. How is it possible the media is not exploding with excitement over stories like this? I mean, I can't believe it.
How about George Bush and Obama having the balls to come out and warn us about disinformation? and Laura Ingraham said, well, while you're having this press conference, you might want to cover the Sodom has weapons of mass destruction. And if you like your doctor, you can keep your doctor. They'll talk about balls.
Oh, it's just, it's not really right. And speak one more thing on the media. The Nancy Pelosi story. Remember, we told you last week your story.
Glug-a-da.
Yeah. Reporter Miguel Almaguer is a very respected reporter.
Emmy-winning.
And a couple of weeks after the Nancy Pelosi husband business and the rest of the guy inside the house and so on and so forth, there were several questions remaining about what had happened, who opened the door, who was there. I mean, there's still these things there's a discrepancy in exactly the specific
You know who
facts
it was?
of what happened.
It was Cato.
Could have been Cato.
Cato
He heard a
Caleb.
knife in the backyard.
He's America's guest.
Up against the house. Anyway, so what happened was Nancy Pelosi. Here's the things the media's not telling you. What happened was Nancy Pelosi started complaining that the police in San Francisco did not do their job, that her husband never should have been attacked, that they got there in time to stop the attack, and therefore the police were inefficient or lacking professional discipline or whatever. So she was, if not publicly, she was telling people that that the police didn't do their job. So one detective who was there said, "Wait a minute, let's set the record straight." Miguel Almaguer talked to the cop, and the cop said two things. He said, the video from the cops' video cameras is explosive, which means that this will show you exactly what was going when the door was open, which we'll never see. And the second thing was, I got to put on my goggles here for the thing. I'm losing my eyes here. The second thing was that the NBC has suspended Almaguer.
Yeah, he's disappeared.
He's gone. He hasn't been seen from in weeks. And the problem, they said that he didn't. He was unprofessional, relying on sources that weren't cleared or some nonsense. I mean, they can use whatever excuse they want. Yeah, but he's gone. And the question is whether Pelosi himself answered the door